Hello there. Today we will be discussing question paper of periodontology and for the year 2018 section 2. Question paper is given here on the screen, section 2. It will be having one long question, short notes and one liner question. So the long question is classify periodontal flap, give rationale, indication, contraindication, limitations and technique in detail. Now coming on to the definition, periodontal flap is a section of gingiva and or mucosa that is surgically separated from underlying tissue to provide visibility of and access to the bone and root surfaces. Coming on to indications, irregular bony contour, deep craters, pocket on teeth in which complete removal of irritant is not clinically possible, grade 2 and grade 3 furcation involvement, root resection, hemisection, intrabony pocket on distal area of last molar, persistent inflammation in area with moderate to deep pockets. It is contraindicated in patients who are medically compromised, poor oral hygiene, uncontrolled or progressive systemic disease, deep intrabony defects and tooth with mark mobility. Objective: resolution of gingival inflammation, accessibility of instrument to root surface, elimination of periodontal pocket, correct abnormal gingival and alveolar bone morphology that interfere with the plaque control, regeneration of periodontal apparatus destroyed by periodontal disease, and aesthetic improvements. Rationale: accessibility of instrument to root surface, elimination of gingival inflammation, creation of oral environment conducive to plaque control, establish gingival sulcus for easy periodontal disease control, create an easy to clean and proper embrasure spaces. Classification based on bone exposure, full thickness and partial thickness flap based on placement of flap after surgery, undisplaced and displaced flap. In displaced flap there will be apically displaced flap, coronally displaced flap and laterally displaced flap. Management of papillae: on the basis of management of papillae, flap is classified as conventional flap and papilla preservation flap. Technique for modified Wiedemann flap. In this question, I will be discussing technique for the modified Wiedemann flap. Step 1. The initial incision is the internal bevel incision to the alveolar crest starting 0.5 to 2 mm away from the gingival margin. Scalloping follows the gingival margin. Vertical relieving incision are usually not needed. Step 2. Gingiva is reflected with periosteal elevator. Now clavicular incision is made from the bottom of the pocket to the bone, circumscribing the triangular wedge of tissue containing the pocket lining. After flap is reflected, a third incision is made in the interdental space. So first incision is internal bevel incision, second is clavicular incision and third is interdental incision, and then the tissue tag and granulation tissue, they are removed with the curette and thorough scaling and root planning is done. And the adaptation of the facial and lingual tissues is done properly. Interrupted direct sutures are placed in each interdental spaces. You can, if you are good in the diagram, you can draw the diagram. This diagram you can draw first showing internal bevel incision and second clavicular incision and last interdental incision, and then granulation or tissue tag is removed. Limitation of modified Wiedemann flap. It is technique demanding, require a high degree of technical skill. One and only same thing. Interproximal flap require exact placement. Intermediate unfavorable interproximal contour when dressing are first removed. Flat or concave interproximal architecture immediately following the removal of surgical dressing, especially in the area of interdental bony craters. Difficulty to perform in thin and narrow attached gingiva. Coming on to the short note, prognosis, dental implant, furcation involvement, host modulating agent and chemical plaque control. Coming on to the first, prognosis. Definition. Since it's asked in a short note, so we will be try to keep the answer very precise and very short. Prognosis is prediction of probable course, duration and outcome of the disease based on the general knowledge of the pathogenesis of disease and the presence of risk factor. So what is prognosis? Prognosis is prediction of course, duration and outcome of the disease based on the thorough knowledge of the disease. Now, prognosis is established after the diagnosis is made and before the treatment plan is established. Factor for determination of prognosis. We will be writing overall factors, then systemic and environmental factor, local factors and prosthetic factor. All the points are given in this diagram. You can easily write from the points, all the points from this. And then classification of prognosis. Classification was given by Maguire and Nunn classification, and in this good, fair, poor, questionable and hopeless prognosis is there. Prognosis of patient associated with gingivitis. I have written point wise all the prognosis of their diseases that is there in perio. Very precisely, very compact I have written it, not going much into the detail. Gingivitis associated with dental plaque, good, overall good prognosis. Chronic generalized periodontitis, mild to moderate prognosis, mild to moderate disease, prognosis is good. Severe, if the disease is severe, then depending upon the amount of bone and plaque control, fair to poor prognosis. In localized aggressive periodontitis, if diagnosed early, excellent prognosis, and in advanced disease, good prognosis, and in generalized aggressive periodontitis, poor prognosis. Just because it's a short note, so I have tried to keep the answer very precise, very to the point answer will be written. Short note, dental implant. Definition: dental implant is surgical component that interface with the bone of the jaw or skull to support a dental prosthesis such as crown, ridge, denture, facial prosthesis, or to act as an orthodontic anchor. Dental implant is surgical component that interface with the bone of the jaw or skull to support dental prosthesis such as crown, bridge, sorry there is a mistake, crown, bridge, denture, facial prosthesis, or it act as an orthodontic anchor. Indication: any edentulous area, atrophic ridge that compromise denture placement, intolerance to RPD, removable partial denture, single tooth loss and oral deformities. Contraindication: acute illness, terminal illness, uncontrolled metabolic disease, unrealistic expectation of the patient. Classification: endoosseous implant, subperiosteal implant, transosseous implant. Now coming on to the classification: subperiosteal, transosteal and endoosteal. In the endoosteal, the device is placed into the alveolar bone. In endoosteal, the device is placed into the alveolar bone. Subperiosteal, sub, below the periosteum, the device is placed beneath the periosteum. Trans, through and through, transosteal, so the device penetrates both the cortical plate. It is trans means through and through. So the classification goes like endoosteal, subperiosteal and transosteal. Component of implant: crown, abutment, screw and implant body. Then peri-implant tissues. The tissue that surround implant is known as peri-implant tissue and is comprised of soft tissue as well as the bony tissues. Mucosa. The junctional epithelium is attached to the implant and or abutment surface through hemidesmosomal attachment. Connective tissue fiber also arise from the crest of alveolar bone and are oriented parallel to the implant or abutment surface and extend toward the oral epithelium. The characteristic feature is that the implant has junctional epithelium and the connective tissue, and the connective tissue, the fibers are oriented parallel in the case of implant and abutment. So this is the diagram showing the connective tissue near teeth or around the teeth. So connective tissue, they are either perpendicular or parallel, but in the implant it is going only in the parallel direction. And regarding hard tissues, osseointegration will be there. What is osseointegration? The contact established without interposing of non-bone tissues between normal remodeled bone and an implant entailing a sustained transfer and distribution of load from the implant to and within the bone tissues. Long-term success of implant depend upon the biomaterial, biomechanics, dental and medical evaluation, and post-insertion maintenance of the implant. This is enough for the short note. Coming on to the furcation involvement. Furcation involvement refer to the invasion of bifurcation and trifurcation of multi-rooted teeth with periodontal disease. Etiology, primary etiological factor is dental plaque, local anatomic factor like root trunk length morphology, local developmental anomalies, cervical enamel projection, enamel pearl, iatrogenic factor, trauma from occlusion, and combination of any of the above factor. Classification, Glickman. In 1953, Glickman proposed the classification in which grade 1 is incipient early stage of furcation involvement, suprabony pocket involving soft tissues, early bone loss with increased probing depth, radiographic changes are not usually seen. Grade 2 is cul-de-sac, moderate bone loss will be there in furcation area, but the area is still covered with the soft tissues. In grade 3, through and through bone loss will be there, but the area is still covered with soft tissues. And in grade 4, through and through bone loss will be there, and the area is not covered with the soft tissue. It is clinically visible. Diagnosis is established on the basis of clinical examination and radiographic evaluation. In clinical examination, sign and symptom will be redness, pain, loss of function, tooth may be perceived as elongated or mobile, increased bleeding tendency, and suppuration. Clinical probing furcation can best be evaluated with curved neighbor probe. And you can draw the diagram if you are good in drawing the diagram. Grade 1, initial bone loss. In grade 2, it will be a cul-de-sac. Instrument cannot pass through the furcation area, and the area is still covered with the soft tissues. And in grade 3, through and through, instrument can pass through and through the furcation area. And in grade 4, soft tissue as well as bone loss will be there, the area will be clinically visible. Treatment. In grade 1, scaling and root planning, furcation plasty, that is odontoplasty and osteoplasty will be done. Grade 2, scaling and root planning followed by bone grafting of the defect. In grade 3, after scaling and root planning, hemisection or root resection might be done depending upon the case. And in last, grade 4, tunnel preparation and extraction of hopeless teeth. Host modulating agent. Host modulation therapy is a treatment concept that aims to reduce tissue destruction and stabilize or even regulate the periodontium by modifying or down-regulating destructive aspect of host response and up-regulating protective responses. First of all, we'll have to explain the collagen degradation concept. How collagen is destroyed in the body. It is by the bacteria as well as by the host factor, and they liberate various matrix metalloproteinase which lead to the breakdown of collagen that is there in the body. Along with that, fibroblast also destroy the collagen. And how we can regulate it? By giving sub-antimicrobial dose of doxycycline and chemically modified tetracycline that regulate the matrix metalloproteinase level in the body. Mechanism of bone destruction. It is by bone is destroyed either by two concept again, by the bacteria or by the host cell. Bacteria, they liberate various collagenase and various interleukins that upregulate the prostaglandin, which lead to activation of multinucleated osteoclast and hence resorption of bone. And in host cell, liberation of various interleukins, cytokines, which upregulate the prostaglandin, and hence the multinucleated osteoclast will activate it and resorption of bone will be there. And how we can control it? We can give bisphosphonate, which will regulate the osteoclast, non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, which control the prostaglandin level, and cytokine inhibitors. So this is the periodontal balance. This is the periodontal balance. This is periodontal balance. In the periodontal balance, on the one side there are disease, all the factors that are associated with the disease, and on the opposite side they are the factor that lead to resolution of the inflammation. Now, classification of force modulating agent, systemic administered agent. In this, there will be non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, bisphosphonate, sub-antimicrobial dose of doxycycline, and in locally administered agent, they are topical non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, enamel matrix protein, and growth factors. And coming on to the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, its mechanism of action is it inhibits formation of prostaglandin E2. It is not approved by FDA because of significant side effect like rebound effect. Bisphosphonate, mechanism of action is it disrupts osteoclastic activity. It is not approved by FDA because of side effect like avascular necrosis of the jaw. Sub-antimicrobial dose of doxycycline, 20 milligram dose of doxycycline, that is Pediostat, is given twice daily for 3 months up to maximum of 9 months. Mechanism of action, it inhibits matrix metalloproteinase. Osteoclastic activity is also inhibited, and it is only FDA approved drug. Locally administered FDA approved drug is enamel matrix protein derivative, and composition is 90% amylogenin and remaining proline rich protein. Function, it promotes cell spreading and bone cell attachment, differentiation of immature bone cell, and induce cellular cementum formation. Growth factor, FDA approved growth factors are GEM21, recombinant platelet derived growth factor plus tricalcium phosphate in combination with tricalcium phosphate, infuse recombinant bone morphogenetic protein along with the bovine type 1 collagen. Now coming on to the short note, chemical plaque control. First of all, definition of plaque control: regular removal of gentle plaque and prevention of its accumulation on the teeth and adjacent surfaces. Method is mechanical and chemical. Ideal property of anti-plaque agent: elimination of pathogenic bacteria, prevent development of resistant bacteria, exhibit substantivity, safety to oral tissue, should be safe to oral tissue, reduction of plaque and gingivitis, no staining of teeth or alteration of taste, easy to use and inexpensive, and having no systemic side effect. Generation of chemical plaque control. First generation. In first generation, antibiotics, phenol, quaternary ammonia compounds, and sanguinarine are there. In second generation, base bigonides are there like chlorhexidine. In third generation, there is delmophenol. Chlorhexidine is considered gold standard. They are mostly used in digluconate salt. Developed in 1940 by Imperial Chemical Industry in England. Plaque inhibition is first studied by Schroeder in 1969, and they showed that rinsing of 60 seconds twice per day with 10 ml of 0.2% chlorhexidine inhibited plaque growth and development of gingivitis. Clinical use. Chlorhexidine is used as adjunct to oral hygiene and professional prophylaxis, post-oral surgery including periodontal surgery and root planning, in patient with jaw fixation, and physically and mentally handicapped patient, medically compromised individual predisposed to oral lesions. Other agents used are triclosan, metallic iron, quaternary ammonia compound, sanguinarine, antibiotic and enzymes, and delmophenol. Coming on to the one-liner question. Curette. Curette are fine instrument. First of all, definition. Curette are fine instrument. Working end has a cutting edge on both the side of blade, and working end has a cutting edge on both the side of blades, and it is having a rounded toe. Use. It is instrument of choice for removing subgingival plaque and calculus, altered cementum, removing of soft tissue lining of periodontal pocket, and root planning. The types are universal and area specific. ENAP, excision new attachment procedure. It is method of curettage. Procedure consists of internal bevel incision performed with a surgical knife followed by the removal of excised tissue. No attempt is made to elevate the flap. After careful scaling and root planning, interproximal sutures are given. WHO probe is also known as CPITN probe. It has marking of 3.5, 5.5, 8.5 and 11.5 and 0.5 mm ball at the end. Color coding at 3.5 to 5.5 and 8.5 to 11.5 mm. Advantage: bar the ball end to minimize the connective tissue penetration in the tissues. Useful for screening purposes. Disadvantage: not appropriate for precise pocket depth measurement. Osteoinduction. Definition: it is a property of bone graft material which induces differentiation of stem cell into osteogenic cell. Graft having osteoinductive property are autograft. One wall defect. Goldman and Cohen classify the angular or vertical defect on the basis of the osseous wall present, and in one wall defect only one osseous wall is remaining around the teeth. treatment is resective osseous surgery. Peri-implantitis definition is pathological inflammatory changes that take place in the tissue surrounding a load-bearing dental implant is known as peri-implantitis. Clinical feature is probing depth greater than 4 mm, bleeding on probing, suppuration and mobility. Thank you.